Yo, what up, boys? Today we're taking a look at Torque Drift 2 once again. They've done a lot of improvements since the last time we were on the game, so let's go ahead and take a look at their new update releasing tomorrow, and let's get straight into it, man. So without further ado, man, I hope you guys are excited because we finally have drift battles in Torque Drift 2. This is something that I think was supposed to be in the game a little bit earlier, but there were some complications, but the team were able to figure it out. So you can climb through the ranks in async drift battles. Now this means it's not real time, and I think there are unfortunately a couple of downsides to the current mode, but overall I think it's a really fun time and a really good time to rank up and compete against your friends' possible best runs. So let's talk about the positives and the negatives for this a little bit later, but first let's dive into the new car I was able to take a look at, the E30. So they have the E30 M3 and the non-M variant, and hopefully we get a body kit for this in the future. I know the E36 just got a body kit, and speaking of which, there are a lot of new body kits in the game developed by the team, as well as we finally have the Pro RTR kit able to be put on the stock Mustang, as you guys see here. And we'll take a look at a couple of my other favorite kits in a second here, but this is a big one for me because I think if they can keep doing this with all the pro cars, for example, take the Yashiro S15 kit off of that and put it on your car, that would be sick. I hope they keep doing things like this or reaching out to get these abilities to be able to do things like this, because being able to put your own liveries on these essentially pro kits is very, very cool. So hopefully we get some bucket seats as well from the pro cars. That would be awesome, but this is a great step in the right direction. Now to add on to the body kits, as you guys see here, a couple of my favorites. The other two that I was really into were the Chaser body kit and the RX-7. These are my other two favorites. We also have some body kits for cars like the AE86, the E36, and the Supra, but these two are just really my speed. Not overly aggressive, no very obvious rivets, just clean extensions of the stock styling that I appreciate so much. Let's go ahead and move on to something else in the customization. They did add a lot more Strom wheels, which I'm a big fan of. I absolutely love Strom wheels, so it's really sick to see some new stuff here. And as you guys can see, they look absolutely dope on my Mustang. And now that we've talked about some of the new customization they've added, and you guys can jump in tomorrow when the full update releases and take a look at some of these options for yourself, as I'm sure there will be some more stuff that's even getting polished up to be added to the game. Let's talk about the positives and the negatives of the biggest thing in this update, the drift battles. So one, it's really fun. I really do enjoy it. I think it's a good time. It's a good way to compete against your friends and kind of be lighthearted and things like that. But there are a few issues. For example, you cannot do a sight lap or a practice lap as of now, but I've already talked to the devs and they're trying to work out a way to get at least one retry maybe for the lead driver and then go from there so you can learn the routes. But I will say there's not too many routes as of right now, and I've kind of been able to learn them all after only playing for like an hour or so. So it's not that difficult. I do wish there was a little bit more variety as far as routes go, but the game already is kind of limited as far as the amount of tracks there are, and any high speed sections on this game still, I think the physics need a little bit of tuning for high speed stuff, but the sections they chose for the drift events really do work out. But another negative that I don't really like is the lead driver can kind of brake check or essentially just choke up a whole bunch and then basically zero out, straighten, crash, or whatever, and it almost benefits him because it's very hard to obviously chase that, and he still retains all of his points. So I think 100% if a lead driver drops below a certain speed or crashes or straightens out, they should 100% get a 0 and lose all their points for the run. That's just what I believe. And then on top of that, as a chase driver, you can basically just ram into the lead driver and nothing really happens too bad. You can also straighten out in the chase and nothing happens too bad. So I think these are things that can be adjusted, but to be fair, at least we have a working, very entertaining to keep ranking up through a drift battle system. I only really started having issues with actually winning when it got to semi-pro, and it was usually because the drivers that we're going against were either straightening out or literally hitting walls or coming to such slow decels in areas where you'd be flat out, and we're in very high power cars. Everybody's running like 1400 horsepower on semi-slicks, so it's very difficult to slow down a car moving that quick if you're knowing the proper line and people are just brake checking everywhere. So I do think there's something that may need to be adjusted there with excel and decel zones, but I know that's a whole different thing. And as far as at least having a system that works, it's very nice to see. And with the game unfortunately having a rather low player count at the moment, there is luckily a system where essentially it just saves your replay and you can always find a match no matter the time. So you can always log in and queue up and there will be somebody for you to battle against and increase your rank. So that's a positive in my opinion, and I think it's very good. I do want to clarify, although there are issues with the scoring system, these are just critiques out of love because I want to see this game do very, very well. And I do think that it is nice to see that this at least actually works, and it did have a couple issues at first, but the devs were really quick to fix everything, and I'm experiencing a very smooth experience, no crashes, no anything now. So this should be more than ready for you guys to play tomorrow, and it feels really good, and it's really cool to see the ranking system working properly as well. It's also important to note that while you increase your rank, the runs and obviously the person you're going against does increase in difficulty and continue to get better. So that's really cool to see as well, and just a nice touch. Also, if you're not looking for a ranked experience or you just want to learn the routes, technically you could only just go and play casual and you won't have to worry about messing up your ranked runs or your placement runs. You can go straight into casual and have zero issue testing all the routes. So that's something I'll probably do upon launch and make sure I know all the routes before heading into ranked. So I'm excited to play this when it goes live as well and climb the ranks and see how high we can get. The game obviously visually looks stunning, and to add to that, they finally have drivers in first person now, which is very cool. I hope there's an option to switch this off. I wasn't able to find it if it is in there, but it is very cool to see that they finally now were able to add the drivers. And a cool little touch is that when the wheel is moving extra fast, I haven't seen this in any other game unless I'm just blind, but I usually do turn the drivers off to be fair, but he literally just lets go of the steering wheel, lets the rotation come around, and then grabs it. So that's a very nice touch added in there for the driver, and it actually makes it pretty cool to look at. And I don't even know if I would turn the driver off if I had the option, but I think it would be nice to give people the option to do so. Now, I want to talk about a couple other things that I know we're taking a look at in this beta. I know the Shitoko Highway with the traffic and stuff was in the beta, and I never got to play that, but I would like to see exactly when that's going to drop and maybe get some testing in on that, because I know that'll be pretty fun and something to look forward to for the community. I really don't know what else they can add to this game at this point as far as gameplay goes. I know it would be nice to see them touch up more on the multiplayer. I would really like to see the netcode be heavily increased. Some of the car sounds still need a little bit of work, but this game is taking great strides and heading in the right direction, and I know the road to console release might be a bit slower now, but once it gets there, I think it'll be very cool, especially when they have modded tracks. For example, we were actually able to take a look at some new modded tracks that might be in the main game already, but for example, they've taken some tracks from DRO and put them in this game, and they actually look better with better trees, and they actually feel pretty good. And those tracks are Red Ring, St. Petersburg. I didn't really care to drive around too much because it's just a city that everybody does wide open parking lot lines in, but it is pretty cool to at least see it in the game and know that it's possible that other tracks from other games can be pulled in and reimagined a little bit to be changed to be unique and then work really well with the game's physics. But hopefully in the future, I guess my wish list for some things I would like to see change or adjust would be obviously the drift battles getting some scoring adjustments, as they are wiping all the leaderboards, by the way, too. So for you leaderboard grinders, there's a lot more stuff that can be done now, and you can go and recompete in all the events and get up there in the leaderboards, which is pretty cool. And they'll have some badging, I think, for that also. But I would like to see continuous improvements possibly to the netcode in multiplayer. I'd like to see more optimization. The game does feel pretty nice, although I am running frame generation. I think it was nice if more optimization could be done even. I do think that the physics are good, but I still think high speed drifting feels really weird for some reason. Like the car just does not like it. The grip racing actually feels really good. It does feel a little bit still like you're in a go-kart, but I still enjoy it, so it's fun. It's a little bit arcadey, but it does feel good. So there's just a few things I would like to see changed as far as just playability goes. If the netcode was perfect, I mean, we could run our own comps in real time in multiplayer. So I think that's the biggest thing that I've been kind of wanting them to take a look at. So hopefully if one of the devs see this video, you guys keep looking at the netcode and really get that multiplayer experience flushed out, because then we can start making videos with the homies and I can start hosting events on there, and that would be a ton of fun. But without further ado, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys go check this out over on Steam or the Epic Games Store, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And it's been Magic IQ, and I'm out. Peace.